There is a state that is passing legislation successfully that will literally ban all semi-automatic firearms ever created, period. So what are we talking about? Well, before we get into it, I do want to take a moment and of course thank our sponsor, Jace Medical, for not only supporting this channel, but providing what I believe to be by far the best prep you could possibly make. Have an emergency antibiotics for your family, or the chronic meds, a year's supply of your chronic meds. That way, if anything happens to that supply chain, you have a year's supply of whatever those medications that you take on a daily basis, just sitting there waiting. That link is below. There's a new piece of legislature seemingly going through the state of New Mexico that will literally ban all semi-automatic weapons made, period. And the chances of it going through are pretty good. Both chambers of the State House and the Senate are a majority anti-gunners, anti-Second Amendment folks. So there's a high likelihood that this bill, this gas-operated semi-automatic firearms exclusion act, will go through. So I want to take a moment and talk about this because it literally bans all semi-automatic handguns, period. All, not some, all of them. Meaning the only thing that you will be able to use in the state of New Mexico would be a single shot or a revolver. So let's talk about this for a second. If you look at really, I'm going to put the link to this bill below. And again, both chambers are majority anti-Second Amendment folks. So there's a high likelihood this is going to go through. And as we've seen in California and Illinois, nobody's going to do anything about it. So let's take a look at this real quick. This is an act relating to firearms, enacting the Gas-Operated Semi-Automatic Firearms Exclusion Act, prohibiting the importation, sale, manufacture, transfer, receipt, or possession of gas-operated semi-automatic firearms, prohibiting large-capacity ammunition feeding devices, prohibiting devices that materially increase the rate of fire of a firearm or approximate the action or rate of a firearm of a machine gun. So there's a lot going on there. Essentially, anything that's gas-operated, anything that has a device that allows you to feed ammo into it like a magazine. And as we're going to see, it's not just semi-automatics. It's also this idea that your magazine will have to be permanently fixed in order to, so you have to have it not semi-automatic, and a permanently fixed magazine is what they're looking for. So just to say, so we can show all semi-automatic handguns, what exactly are they talking about here? Well, if you go into the kind of the new material definitions that they have here, and again, I'll put the link below, definitely read through it. What they're referring to is the cycle of the action, which means to extract the fired cartridge case, chamber the next cartridge, and prepare the firing mechanism to fire again. Gas operated means any firearm that harnesses or traps a portion of the high pressure gas from a fired cartridge to cycle the action using a long stroke piston, a short stroke piston, a system that traps and vents gas from either the barrel or chamber, hybrid systems, and blowback operated systems. And then it gets into the ammunition piece where you can't have, just permanently fixed magazines only. So what they would be referring to is like the tube of a pump action shotgun kind of thing. Anything that will allow you to take a magazine out or put a magazine in, prohibited. This is the most extreme ban on guns that I believe exists. This is going to take us back to the Wild West days, is what it's going to be in New Mexico. How appropriate. But, in the end, almost all these seats are up for election in November. The state of New Mexico has to do something about it. We're watching people around this country literally vote themselves into submission. On both sides, by the way, not just Democrats, but both sides. And this is just another example of that. This is extreme, and it's probably going to go through. So they do have a grandfather clause, which will force you to register your firearms, which again, they'll just flip a switch and maybe take it back from you. And they'll also know who has these firearms as well. So it's more of a trap than anything else, as we've seen in Illinois. So there you go, New Mexico, man. It looks like you're in all semi-automatic guns banned. Anything that takes a magazine banned. This is horrible. This is a terrible situation. So any thoughts or insight on this, definitely put that below. Do want to take a moment and say that most people watch this channel, they're not subscribers. Take a moment, hit that subscribe button. It greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. Also, if you feel called to support this channel with Patreon, that link is also below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests. So please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.